You wake up on January 1st with hope. You tell yourself this year will be different. You write down goals. You promise yourself discipline. You feel ready. And then February comes, March comes. And slowly, without you even noticing, you're back to the same routines, the same distractions, the same excuses. You had all the time in the world, but somehow the year slipped through your fingers again. Now it's 2026, and I need you to be honest with yourself. Are you truly different from who you were 12 months ago? Or are you just older, carrying the same problems into a new calendar year? Because here's what most people don't want to hear. The problem isn't that you lack motivation. It's not that you don't have the resources. It's not that the world is against you. The problem is that there are three specific things quietly destroying your progress every single year, and you keep ignoring them. You keep hoping they'll fix themselves. They won't. And if you don't address them now, at the start of this year, you'll arrive at December 31st, 2026, with the exact same regrets you had last year. Let me tell you what happens every January. Millions of people flood gyms. They buy planners. They commit to new habits. The energy is real. The intention is genuine. But by the third week, attendance drops. By February, half of them are gone. By March, it's like January never happened. And it's not because people are lazy. It's because they never identify what was actually holding them back. They attacked the symptoms, not the disease. They changed their schedule without changing their system. They wanted different result but kept the same thinking. And that's the trap. You can have all the motivation in the world, but if the three core problems are still there, unaddressed and unresolved, you will repeat the cycle. Same hope in January, same disappointment in December, same gap between who you want to be and who you actually are. So let's be clear about something. The year 2026 will not change your life. The number on the calendar means nothing. What changes your life is what you do differently within that year. It's the systems you build. It's the discipline you maintain when no one is watching. It's the choices you make on boring Tuesdays in July when the excitement of New Year's has long faded. Because here's the truth, time passes the same for everyone. 12 months, 52 weeks, 365 days. But some people will use this year to completely transform their lives, and others will let it slip by in a blur of distractions and delays. The difference isn't luck, it isn't talent, it isn't circumstances. The difference is that the people who actually change their lives fix the three things that everyone else ignores. The first thing holding you back is this: you don't track what actually matters. You feel busy, you fill your days, you move from task to task. But at the end of the week, you can't point to anything meaningful that moved forward. And the reason is simple. You're measuring activity instead of progress. You count hours worked but not results produced. You celebrate being busy but ignore being effective. And every year, this costs you months of time. Let me show you what this looks like. Two people start the year with the same goal. Let's say they both want to build a business. Person A wakes up every day and works, answers emails, attends meetings, researches ideas, scrolls through competitor websites, learns new tools, feels productive, ends every day exhausted. Person B wakes up and asks one question. What is the single most important thing I can do today that will move me closer to my first customer? And they do that thing first. They ignore everything else until it's done. 3 months pass. Person A has been busy every single day. Person B has 10 customers. 6 months pass. Person A is still researching and planning. Person B has 50 customers and revenue. 1 year passes. Person A is frustrated and confused. They worked hard, they were disciplined, but nothing happened. Person B has a functioning business. Same year, same amount of time, completely different result. And the only difference was this. Person B tracked what mattered. They didn't measure effort. They measured outcomes. They didn't celebrate being busy. They celebrated moving forward. So here's what you do. right now, today, before this week ends. You write down the 3 most important outcomes you need to achieve in 2026. Not tasks, not activities, outcomes. Real, measurable results. Maybe it's gaining 10 clients. Maybe it's losing 20 pounds. Maybe it's saving a specific amount of money. Whatever it is, write it down. And then every single week, you track only one thing. Did I move closer to these outcomes or did I just stay busy? Because if you don't track it, you lie to yourself. You confuse motion with progress. You arrive at December thinking you worked hard all year, but you have nothing to show for it. And that's the worst feeling in the world. Not failure, not rejection, wasted time, time you can never get back. So fix this now. Decide what actually matters. Track it every week. And be ruthlessly honest with yourself about whether you're progressing or just pretending. The second thing holding you back is this. You let distractions steal your focus every single day and you don't even realize it's happening. You sit down to work and within 10 minutes, you've checked your phone, you've opened the social media, you've responded to a message, you've watched a video, and you tell yourself it's just a quick break, just a few minutes. But those few minutes happen 10 times a day, 20 times. And each time, it takes your brain 15 to 20 minutes to fully refocus. So those quick breaks aren't quick, they're expensive. They're stealing hours from your day. And over the course of a year, they're stealing weeks, months. The time you needed to actually build something meaningful. And here's what makes this worse. Distraction doesn't feel like a problem. It feels normal. It feels like everyone does it. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous, because you're not fighting it. You're not protecting your focus. You're just letting it happen day after day, year after year. Let me tell you what happens when you don't fix this. You start the year with big plans. You want to learn a new skill. You want to build something. You want to grow. But every day, distraction takes a little piece of your time, a little piece of your focus. And by the end of the year, you haven't made real progress on anything. You started the 5 things and finished the none. You learned the basics of 10 skills but mastered the none. You had ideas but never executed. And you look back and wonder where the time went. It went into distraction, into notifications, into scrolling, into reacting instead of creating. And the tragedy is you had the time. You had the ability. You just gave it away in small, invisible pieces. So here's what you do. You create one single block of protected time every day where distraction cannot touch you. Not 2 hours, not 4 hours, just 1 hour. 60 minutes where your phone is off. Your notifications are silenced. Your door is closed. And during that hour, you work on the one thing that will actually move your life forward. Not emails, not messages, not busy work. The real work, the hard work, the work that makes you uncomfortable because it actually matters. And you do this every single day, not when you feel motivated, not when you have extra time, every day. Because here's the truth. One focused hour every day is worth more than 10 distracted hours. In 1 year, that's 365 hours of deep, uninterrupted work on what matters most. That's enough to learn a language, build a business, write a book, transform your health. But only if you protect it, only if you treat it like the most valuable hour of your day, because it is. The third thing holding you back is this. You negotiate with yourself. You make a decision, and then a few days later, you change it. You set a standard, and then you lower it when it gets hard. You commit to something, and then you find reasons why it's okay to compromise. And every time you do this, you teach yourself that your word means nothing, that your commitments are optional, that you can't be trusted. And this destroys you slowly, year after year, because you never build momentum, you never build discipline. You're constantly starting over, constantly renegotiating, constantly making excuses for why today is different, why this situation is special, why you'll start again tomorrow. Let me show you what this looks like. Someone decides they're going to wake up at 6 a.m. every day. Day 1, they do it. Day 2, they do it. Day 3, they sleep through the alarm and tell themselves it's okay because they were tired. Day 4, they wake up at 7 and tell themselves close enough. Day 5, they don't even set the alarm because what's the point? And by day 10, they've forgotten they ever made a commitment. Same thing happens with diet, with exercise, with work, with relationships. They set a standard and then they negotiate it down the moment it becomes uncomfortable. And the problem isn't that they failed once. The problem is that they taught themselves that commitments are flexible, that discipline is optional, that they can always renegotiate later. Now, compare that to someone who makes a decision and locks it in. They decide to wake up at 6. And on day 3, when they're tired, they still wake up at 6. On day 10, when they didn't sleep well, they still wake up at 6. On day 30, when it's cold and dark, they still wake up at 6. And by day 90, it's not even hard anymore. It's just who they are. They don't negotiate. They don't debate. They don't make excuses. They decide it and they follow through. And that person, by the end of the year, has built something unshakable. They've proven to themselves that their word matters, that they can be trusted, that when they commit, they deliver. And that changes everything because now they can take on bigger challenges, bigger goals, bigger risks, because they know they won't quit on themselves. So here's what you do. You make one non-negotiable commitment for this year. Just one. Something simple. Something you can do every single day. Maybe it's waking up at a specific time. Maybe it's working out for 20 minutes. Maybe it's reading for 15 minutes. Maybe it's writing for 10. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you never negotiate it. You never compromise. You never make excuses. You do it every single day, no matter what. And when your brain tries to talk you out of it, when it tells you that today is special, that you deserve a break, that you'll start again tomorrow, you ignore it. You do it anyway. Because you're not trying to build a habit. You're trying to build trust with yourself. You're trying to prove that your commitment means something. And once you do that, once you go an entire year without breaking a single commitment to yourself, you become a different person. You become someone who can achieve anything because you've proven you can stick to something when it's hard, when it's boring, when no one is watching. Let me bring this together. 3 things. First, you don't track what matters, so you stay busy but never progress. Second, you let distraction steal your focus every day, so you never build anything meaningful. Third, you negotiate with yourself, so you never build discipline or momentum. And these 3 things, year after year, keep you stuck. They keep you hoping for change but repeating the same patterns. They keep you starting strong in January and fading by March. They keep you looking back at December, wondering what happened to the year. But here's the other side. If you fix these 3 things, everything changes. If you track real outcomes, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. If you protect 1 hour of focus every day, you build something real over the course of the year. If you stop negotiating with yourself, you become disciplined, reliable, unstoppable. Same year. Same amount of time. Completely different result. And the choice is yours. Right now, today, at the start of 2026. You can keep doing what you've always done, and 12 months from now, you'll be exactly where you are today. Or you can fix these 3 things, and 12 months from now, you won't even recognize your life. Because time is going to pass either way. By this time next year, 2026 will be over. It will be January 2027. And you'll be sitting wherever you are, looking back at this year. And you will either feel regret or you'll feel pride. You'll either wonder where the time went or you'll be amazed at how much you accomplished. You'll either be the person who made excuses or the person who made progress. And the difference will come down to this moment, this decision. Whether you chose to fix what was holding you back, or whether you ignored it and hoped things would somehow be different this time. So let me ask you directly. What did you do last year that you're still doing now? What habits did you have in January 2025 that you still have today? What excuses did you make 12 months ago that you're still making? And if the answer is uncomfortable, if you realize you've been repeating the same patterns, then you need to face this truth. 2026 will not be different unless you make it different. And making it different doesn't require a miracle. It doesn't require luck. It doesn't require perfect circumstances. It requires you to fix these three things: to track what matters, to protect your focus, to stop negotiating with yourself. That's it. That's the difference between someone who transformed their life this year and someone who wasted another year hoping for change. So decide right now, are you going to repeat or are you going to rebuild? Are you going to let these three things quietly destroy another year? Or are you going to face them, fix them, and finally move forward? The year is here. The time is now. And what do you do in the next 30 days would determine the next 365. Make them count.